To all the geeks and nerds out there, welcome back to another episode of Simply Minecraft. This is a series where each episode we take a look at one aspect of the game and try and make it as easy and as simple as we can. And as you see behind me, today we are looking at a flower farm. This is super easy, takes a bit of bone meal, but yeah, you should be able to build this up without too much bother. So if you want to see how it works and learn how to build it, then stick around. So before we get into the details and I give you a block by block tutorial, let me give you a quick tour of this thing so you can see how it works. So on the top here we have a whole bunch of grass, and this grass is being moved backwards and forwards to break any of the flowers that are grown on top. And how are they grown? Well, underneath we have this dispenser right here, which is full of bone meal. It's got these hoppers that lead more bone meal into it, and that is activated every time the floor shifts. And when it bone meals the grass, flowers are grow, and then of course the grass moves, and that breaks the plants. How does the grass move? Well, on each side we've got a set of pistons that push backwards and forwards each time, and over here we've got a small clock that controls how often those pistons fire and move backwards and forwards. Over here we have our storage for the bone meal that feeds the dispenser underneath, and over here at the back we've got a bunch of dispensers that are right here. All of these have a bucket of water in them, and then we've got an on and off switch back here. So just got to turn this thing off, and when we do, those dispensers are activated, the water flows across, and all the flowers are then gathered in these hoppers over here. All those hoppers take all the flowers over to this storage over here, so we can have all of our seeds and flowers and whatnot collected over there. And then when you're ready, you just turn it on again, and then we're off again. Now, before you build this thing, the important thing to think about is the location. Now, I'm in a flower forest, and there's some special properties of flowers over here, and that is where they grow. So let's talk about the location, how flowers grow, and then we'll get into the block by block tutorial. So as we said, we're in a flower forest, and as you can see, the floor is littered with beautiful flowers. But what we need to do is we need to find the right location for the kind of flowers we need. Now, obviously, when you're building a flower farm, this is really going to be for either dyes or for flowers for decoration. And there might be some particular flowers that you want. So that will dictate where you build this farm, because whenever you bone meal some grass, the same flowers will grow in the same location. And yeah, I've got something set up over here just to give you a demonstration. So here I've got a 3x3 of grass right here, and I've also got a 3x3 here. Now, this 3x3 I've bone mealed until we get a flower on every single block, so you can see that they are the flowers that appear. Now, if I was to bone meal underneath here, obviously we need to get rid of any grass that might appear, but whenever we do that and some flowers appear, you should see that they match the flowers above. So there is a thing called a flower map, and no matter what the Y level is, the same flower will always grow on the same block. So if I was to remove this tulip here, this red tulip, and then bone meal again, a red tulip would grow here again. We wouldn't get a different colour. So that's something to bear in mind when you're building your farm. You'll get the same flowers on the same blocks. Now, one thing to be aware of is that is not the same for how flowers generate with the biome. So over here, I've done another test. So these flowers under here, these were all generated as part of the world, and I've done the bone meal test above. And as you can see here, this block right here, this has got a red tulip on it, but if we look at the block underneath, it's got this orange one. So they are different. So when you're picking your location, you should do some bone mealing to find the flowers that you want. Don't rely on the flowers that have generated with the world. Now, of course, you don't have to build this in a flower forest. The other place that's good to build this is in a plains biome, because you get some good flowers there too. There's a good list of all the flowers on the wiki. So take a look at that, and then build your flower farm in the right location. And as usual, here is the full material list. I'll also put this in the description below, so go and collect all of these items. So here we have a stack of grass. We have I've got some glass here. That's just so we can see inside the farm, but that can be any block. We've got some solid blocks here, a bunch of some redstone, some hoppers, pistons, dispensers, observers, some dirt as well. But that's really going to be either dirt or grass for those ones. We'll talk more about that in a little while. Then you're going to need some water buckets, some chests, composters, a lever, Redstone Comparator, and a Redstone Lamp, and that is all you need to it. Not too many blocks, not too complicated. So yeah, gather up all your materials, find your location, and then we can start building. Once you've found your location, the first thing to do is to build our grass platform, and that is going to be 8 blocks by 9 blocks. So we've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it's going to be 9 this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then fill all of this in so you get one big square. Once you've got your platform, we can move on to the next step. But what I should say is, if you don't have a silk touch shovel to be able to collect the grass, then you can just build this on the ground if you've got a flat area of grass of this size. Anyway, let's move on. So along one of these edges that's got 8 blocks, so this one right here, if you come 1 block away and leave a gap here, and then place solid blocks all the way along here, all the way along this side, just like that. And then get yourself some pistons and place pistons all along these blocks just like this, so it touches all of the grass here. Then this first block here, just remove that, get an observer and point it downwards just like that. Now do the same thing on the other side, but make it one block further away. So here we need to come out for an air block, a piston, and then your solid blocks. So do that along here. So you've got 8 blocks all the way along, just like this. So that should match up. Then get your pistons, and then come along here all the way along to the very end. Get rid of that, and then get your observer on this final block here, pointing downwards. So that's how it should look, just like that. So you've got your pistons on either side with solid blocks and an observer, but you've got this one block of air along here. Next we can work on our collection system. So come to the edge of the grass where it's 9 blocks along, which is this one right here, and it's the opposite side to where you've got your observers. So the observers are over there, but we're at this end. So come down here and then place a double chest next to this piston, just like this, and then get yourself some hoppers and run them into that double chest all the way along, just like that. If you want to add some additional storage, then get some double chests and place them underneath this one, just like that, and then place a hopper going into there. Now you can add more of those all the way down, depending on how much storage you want. Now let's work on getting the bone meal into place. So come around to this side. So this is the side with the gap, the one wide gap on it. And if you come down here and then count 4 blocks along, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this block right here, get an observer and point it into that block just like that. So the red dot is underneath. Then you get an observer facing this one. So the red dot is here. Then a solid block. Now on this block here, we need to have our dispenser, but pointing upwards. So you might want to break this block, come up here and place it against the solid block just like that, and then you can replace the grass. Then get yourself some hoppers, and you need to run them from this dispenser all the way out just like this, holding shift as you do all the way till you get to here. Then you get yourself another double chest and place that on top of this hopper, and that's where your bone meal is going to go in. Next, come over to these observers that we placed earlier, place a solid block on top, and then run some redstone all the way along on top of all of these blocks, and do that on both sides. So that side there, put a block here, and then redstone on this one, and then all the way along to the very end. Now come around to the opposite side of the grass over here, and then place a temporary block next to it, and then place your 8 dispensers along here. So 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you'll have to hold down shift as you do that, otherwise you'll go into the inventory. And then for each of these, get yourself a water bucket and place it in all of the dispensers. So do that for every single dispenser. Then get yourself some glass blocks or whatever block you choose, and place a row down here on this grass all the way along to here, and then come around here, leaving a gap so when the water comes across, it will go into the items will go into the hoppers, and then along here above this air gap we've got already, just like that. And then build this up to a second layer, so you've got a 2 high wall all the way around. So do it over here, and also on top of all of the dispensers. That's just to make sure that when the grass moves and the flowers are broken, they don't jump out of the farm, because some of the ones that are on the edge can jump up. But if you've got a 2 high wall all the way around, it looks good and also keeps all the flowers in place. Now come around to the back of the dispensers, and as you can see here, I've added water in every single one of these, so make sure you do that. And then place solid blocks behind all of these dispensers, plus an extra one, and then place an observer down here facing downwards. Then you can get yourself some redstone dust, which I've just got handily right here, and then place that all the way along all of these blocks to the very end. Next, come underneath the farm and place a temporary block here under this observer, and then place a solid block under it. Then you can get rid of your temporary block. Then run these solid blocks all the way along to the very end until you get underneath the other observer just here. Then get some redstone dust and place redstone dust on all of these blocks all the way along. Now somewhere in the middle, leave a gap of 2 and keep going with your redstone all the way along there, just like that. Then get yourself 2 observers and make sure they're pointing that way. So 1 there and 1 there. That's just to introduce a bit of delay. So what's going to happen here is we'll be powering this piece of redstone dust, which will power these pistons over here via the observer. And then all of the redstone line across there, all of the pistons will get powered. That will then power this line as well. These add a bit of delay, and then these pistons get fired as well, because this redstone dust will get powered. The observer sees it and then powers this line, which pushes them back again. So that's how we get the shifting floor going backwards and forwards, just like that. And lastly, let's work on the clock and the on and off switch to turn this farm on and off. So come over to this side where we've got our bone meal chest right here, and the pistons are next to the grass. So on this block here, come away 1 block, so leave a block gap just like that. then get a comparator and point it that way, point it into the Redstone Dust. Then get an observer and place it next to the comparator, so it's kind of watching it for its state to change. Then get yourself a temporary block next to the comparator, and then place a hopper over there. Get rid of that one and a hopper there. So you end up with 2 hoppers pointing into each other, and one of them is in front of that comparator. Then get yourself a redstone lamp and place it next to the comparator on this side. Then a lever on top of that, and then you can turn that on. That will in fact turn the farm off. So when the lamp is on, that means the farm is off. Then in this hopper right here, get any item, doesn't matter what it is, that goes there. Then get yourself a observer and point it facing into the redstone lamp, just like that. Then the last thing you can do is get yourself a couple of composters. And we're going to place these on top of the hoppers. They do 2 things. They first of all reduce some lag. So whenever you've got hoppers open like that, it's always a good idea to put composters on them to reduce some lag, but also it stops other items going into it. So with that done, you should be good. Just make sure you've got 1 item in this hopper right here. And now if we turn this farm on, we should see the water disappearing and the floors going backwards and forwards. All we've got to do now is add in the bone meal. So I've turned the farm off. So let's go underneath into our dispenser, get a bunch of bone meal and stick it in here. You can also then go to your chest over here and add in as much bone meal as you've got that you want to supply your farm. That should keep it going. Now you'll notice here I've turned the farm off, and that will release all of the water to push items across. But you'll also notice here is that we get some of the blocks turn into grass. That's because any grass blocks that are underneath a water source will turn into dirt. So these ones will turn into dirt. That's why there was dirt in the material list. But don't worry about those. You don't need those. That's all good. But you can use dirt across these ones here if you need to, if you don't have enough grass. But that should be good. Now we can turn it on again, and we should see the water disappearing. The floors are shifting, and we're creating some flowers because they're now being bone milled. So that's all good. And then when you've had this running, so don't have it running for more than 5 minutes because then the items will start despawning. So just run it for a little bit and then press this, flip that lever. Water comes across as before. All the items go into the hoppers, and then they should be collected down here in these chests. There is one more thing you can do, which is optional, and you might notice that if you look in there, you get quite a lot of seeds, and you'll probably get to a point where seeds isn't something you want to keep. So what you can do is you can recycle those back into the system. So what you can do here is we can add a hopper next to this chest, add a composter on top of that, then a hopper going into the top of the composter, and then get yourself a chest and place it there. Now anything that you don't need, like seeds for example, you can put into that chest. Let's grab these seeds out of here, and then come up to this chest, place them in. And then that will go into this composter, that will turn it into bone meal, and then start refilling our storage right here. So of course it doesn't just have to be seeds, that could be any item in the game that can be composted. So that's a good way to feed that into the system and reduce some of the waste. So there we have it, a nice and easy flower farm that you can build. Of course you can build this anywhere in your world. Your flower forest or in the plains are probably the 2 best places to do it, but that should give you plenty of flowers for dyes. So all you need now is a good supply of bone meal, and that's something we'll be coming on to in a later episode of the series. So I hope you found it useful, and if you did, then please hit the like button, and if you're new, then feel free to subscribe, and if you've got any comments or suggestions, then get in that comment section. Alright my geeks, until next time, I will see you later.